If you tell me that one day Boba Fett is gonna teach Tusken people how to drive a bike, I'm gonna say you're insane, but that's what's gonna happen, and frankly, I like it. If we compare episode 1 to episode 2, I actually like this one a little bit better because this definitely have more complete storytelling in it, while the first one just do some setup. I think while the first episode is about 50-50 on the present versus the flashback content, right now the episode 2 is about 30-70. We really emphasize on the flashback now. And because how the things are set up, I actually was interested in the flashbacks of time with the tasking a lot more than present. So I wonder if they're gonna pick up soon on the present timeline because right now it's a little bit lame. There's not much action, not much development at all. So we'll see. So the first part of the episode, we talk about the present timeline. We meet more Hutts. They are Jabba's cousins, the twins. Kind of disgusting to see two piles of meat just sitting there, and I feel like one Jabba is okay. Two of them together is a little bit too much. And then there's a black Wookiee with like black fur. Is he the one that was from the Afra comics? I knew he was also in other stuff, but I knew him from the Afra comics. I wonder if they are the same one because I feel like they have the vibe and like the threatening darkness, just almost I'm gonna kill you any second. How does he end up here and what's happening to his storyline? I wonder if we're gonna see more because we definitely have a couple shots focusing on him. So maybe he will be a big part of the story. I can't wait to see that. Other than that, the present timeline is very boring. Honestly, it's just introduce a little bit to the mayor, to the surrounding, show off some set design, and that's it. But then we go to the flashback, we see his journey with the Tusken people, and that's totally different, and that's so good because he was almost powerless there, and he grows to be strong and stronger. He needs to convince the Tusken that he is worth it. He is not some slave they can master here and there, do this, do that. He wants their respect. He wants to be one of them. He wants to be a great fighter. We see they doing some Tusken style training. And as sort of repay, Boba Fett offers to teach them how to ride bike, how to use mechanics. This is a great step because they no longer need to be afraid of the intruders, let's say. There are unfortunately a couple things that are still very dark, but at least it's not as bad as the first episode. And the actions are well choreographed on the train heist, from the planning to the teaching and to the actual action step by step. It was very well done. I love that. Once again, we're seeing a lot of body movements to show the storytelling, but then we also see Tusken people's language. Have we seen that before? I feel like the first time we saw them communicate was with the sign language in Mandalorian. I'm not sure if we've ever seen them talk in language with subtitle. So that's interesting, but we can see that they're still using a lot of hand signs, which I like a lot. I feel like they can understand each other on some degree, but still needs hand signs in some way. And that's kind of realistic. And they were talking about spies with the sand. I just giving the feeling that, oh my gosh, is this Star Wars or is it Dune? You know? This episode especially somehow feels very Dune to me. And I mean, Star Wars is Dune, we all know that. And story-wise, the last part is very interesting. It feels like a spiritual experience that Boba Fett went through. I first thought it was in a vision, some kind of force vision, but then he actually returned to the camp with a branch, so everything actually happened. I do wonder if they're ever gonna bring some force elements in this show, because usually we know that Star Wars are almost always about the force. Even in some shows like Mandalorian, where we're not expecting Force, then we have Baby Yoda using the Force, so that's cool. And then later, of course, we have Luke and we have Ahsoka. So is this show only gonna focus on Boba Fett's journey, or are we gonna see some form of other Force? For example, we know that Night Sisters use magic. Those are their interpretation of Force, I would say. So are we gonna see more of that? Are we gonna see what Tusken make of the Force? Is that whole laser journey their way to showcase how they communicate with the words. Also, that he got a branch from the tree in the desert. I would think that if there's actually this tree somewhere in the desert, it would probably be a big thing for the planet because they don't have tree. How can this tree grow up there, right? So I'm not sure how real the whole thing is, but he did return with a branch. I kind of want the show to keep it mysterious in this way, but I wouldn't object knowing a little bit more of what exactly happened. But then again, this show is cool enough that I'm not objecting. Last episode, I had some question about if we're gonna hear some male chorus voice in the soundtrack, and we did have a little bit when the previously or is the title card around that time. They do appear a little bit, but most of the time when the music is intense, it's just instrumental. I definitely want to see in the future how the balance of the present part and the flashback gonna be, because right now it's very heavily balanced to the past. When are we gonna heavily balance come to the now, and how are the two parts gonna become one? Because right now they seem very different stories. And also it seems like the Boba Fett and the Tuskens have a great relationship. I would assume that he says goodbye to them when he located his armor, but he also did not return to them. He decided to take the throne. So why is he doing that? Does he just want more? Does he want the same thing he want with Tuskens? Does he want to change the whole planet? What was his plan right now? I kind of want to know. So yeah, that's my brief review of the second episode. This episode is actually a little bit longer, about 53 minutes plus the credits and plus previously. And I didn't feel very bored by it because of how intense the actions are and how great the shots really tell the story. Can't wait to see more. But this show is definitely a little bit different than I expected. I didn't expect to see so much tasking people with content, how their life, what's their daily routine, who's their enemy, how do they fight, how do they get their weapon, all this sort of thing I enjoyed. I want to see more of the world building. Oh, and I read it after I watched the episode that the part that Boba Fett went to a bar and beat some people, that bar actually appeared in a deleted scene in A New Hope, also was in the novel. So I didn't know that before, so that was good to know. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.